Please, question
Thanks,
21.
Chair. Minister, this is similar to the question tabled earlier from Deputy O'Snuddig with regard to the working group on Lariam report, which we were promised in 2013. Promise will be published in January of this year, and as of yet, we haven't seen it. And Lariam is continued to be prescribed as a drug of first choice. There's an urgency in dealing with this, Minister. You're aware that the veterans assembled on Saturday, many of them the victims of this drug. They want it acknowledged and they want their problems rectified, and that this will be dealt with. So.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. You have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you very much, Clare. The health and welfare of the Defence Forces are a priority for me, and this informs my approach to the issue of Lariam. As I have already advised the House today, a malaria working group was established in January 2011 and reported in April 2013. The group was reconvened in August 2015. The purpose of the group is to review inter alia issues arising in relation to the use of Lariam, particularly in the context of the current and potential litigation. It is to review the Defence Force's approach in relation to the use of malaria. It is also to ensure that the procedures in relation to this continue to be appropriate and in accordance with the best medical practice. In addition, the group was tasked with reviewing the use of the drug Primaquine as part of the overall medical treatment process for those deployed in malarious areas. As with the group's original report, the current report has been produced in the context of current and political litigation, and it is therefore legally privileged. I can confirm that the group is investigating all the various allegations surrounding the use of Lariam and has obtained advice from leading medical experts.
Okay, thank you, Minister. Deputy Daly.
I know the backdrop and the history of the report, the terms of reference. I want to see it. We were promised that we would have this report in January, and in the lifetime, everything has changed utterly on this subject since the last stall. It's changed radically. At the end of last month, the British Defence Select Committee published a highly critical report that recommended banning the use of Lariam by the Ministry of Defence personnel. At the very least, they said, it should be the drug of last resort. We know that Lariam is the third line of choice for the US Army in sub-Saharan Africa. It's banned for use with the US Special Forces. We know the Australian Defence Forces, who are diagnosed as suffering from use of Lariam, can claim compensation. They've been apologised to, and so on. This is critically urgent. We are endangering the lives of people who serve in our defence forces, and it is against best medical practice. I met a man at the protest on Saturday who had served in Lebanon, been shot in the leg, served in Kosovo, dug up bodies without any counselling, and then went to Liberia, was prescribed Lariam and has had dreadful side effects, deep depression and psychological problems. This is critically urgent to stop other people from it. We need to see this report. We need to stop using it. Stopping using it will put us in line with best medical practice.
Minister, please, to respond. 1 minute.
Just first of all, you mentioned that the UK Defence Committee report on Lariam. Yes, I am very much aware of the report and its conclusions. However, the choice of malaria for the use of by other armed forces is an internal matter for their forces. It would be inappropriate for me to comment on other states' policy in this regard. And the Deputy may wish to note that the working group invited 2 of the doctors who provided evidence to the UK Defence Committee to submit material to the group. Both doctors, Dr Remington Nevin and Dr Ashley Croft, submitted material for the consideration of the working group. In relation to the use of Lariam in an Irish context, the health and welfare of men and women of the Defence Forces is a priority for me. And I have never changed, nor has my predecessor changed that line. The choice of medication for overseas deployment, including the use of Lariam, is a medical decision by the medical officers in the Irish Defence Force, having regard for the specific circumstances of the mission and the individual member of the Irish
Thank you, Minister.
Forces.
Deputy Daly.
This is actually critically worrying in the extreme, I have to say. Let's look at the conclusions of the British Committee, where they said there's neither the need nor any justification for continuing to issue this medication to service personnel unless they can be individually assessed in accordance with the manufacturer's requirements. We know that that is not possible in an army setting. I think the British forces are also concerned with the health of their personnel. And does it not bother a minister that practically every single defence forces on the planet has changed their position regarding Lariam, except the Irish Defence Forces, which dig in and which refuse to acknowledge what has gone on? There's nothing wrong with saying we made a mistake. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging the wrongdoing. What is wrong is continuing with a policy which has been abandoned in other jurisdictions because of legitimate health concerns, flying in the face of international knowledge on this issue, and yet blindly carrying on. 2013, this report was commissioned initially, updated in 2015. You told us, or your predecessor told us, we'd have it in January.
Thank you, Deputy.
Can we
Minister
see
to
it,
respond.
please, or are you saying we'll never get to see it?
Minister to respond.
Let me say this to you, Deputy, that there is different practices between Ireland and the UK, and just from our position here, that Lariam remains in the formerly medications prescribed by the Medical Corps for Defence Forces personnel on appropriate overseas missions to ensure that our military personnel can have effective protection from the very serious risks posed by malaria. And let me state, Deputy, which killed approximately 438,000 people in 2015, with 90% of deaths occurring in sub-Saharan Africa, as reported by the WHO. And it is a serious threat to any military force operating in the area. And it is notable that no member of the Defence Forces, despite the numbers who have served in malarial areas, have died from malaria, and the use and information on medications is kept under ongoing review. However, there are no plans at this time to withdraw Lariam from the range of anti-malarial medications available to the Irish Defence Forces.
Thank you, Minister. I move on.